Hello! I am back with yet another Get Ready With Me because it seems like, I don't know, it's easier, I guess, to sort of film these. It's not so sort of like business-like, and it just kind of feels like I'm hanging out. If I forget to tell you guys what I'm using or what I'm doing, it's because it's not technically a tutorial. I'm just, on here kind of talking. I will tell you, though, that I did use a little bit of my Tarte Clean Slate Primer just down the center of my face. And I'm going to use a little bit of my MAC Studio Water Weight. And I'm not going to put this all over my face. I'm not really in the mood for a lot of foundation today. So I'm just going to kind of go down the center of my face with this. Just to sort of even things out a little bit. So last week I put out a video. And I was telling you guys about a sort of rant video that I made. It was actually a Get Ready With Me, and there was a rant video attached to the end. And I'd asked you guys if you wanted to see it, because I feel like lately I've been, you guys know, because I put that video out not too long ago about how I've been feeling about YouTube and some of the things that I'm seeing, and basically that's what that rant was about. But at the same time, I started thinking about it, and I realized that everyone's entitled to their own opinions and their thoughts on things. And the problem is people just get very offended very easily. And a lot of times, it's not on the person who's actually doing the talking. It's on the person who's doing the listening, because they either feel like it applies to them, or they take offense to it, or they take it personally because they fall into that category, or whatever the case may be. So it does get really hard sometimes to just kind of speak one's mind, because there are so many people that just take a whole lot of offense to pretty much everything and anything that is said. Can you guys see how dark I am there? It's Monday morning. I worked last night. I worked 6:30 Sunday night till 7 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock Monday morning, which is today, and I haven't been to bed yet. I came home and I just was not feeling very tired, so I decided to stay up. I cleaned my room. I did a little bit of cleaning in the house. So anyway, kind of getting back to what I was talking about, I kind of decided that maybe I wasn't going to put that video out, just because I feel like it's a whole lot of unnecessary attention that I want to bring to myself. And not that I have any problem with debating or talking things through with people. I would do that if it were that easy. People are very emotional, and again, I feel like more so now than ever, and again, it's because of social media, and it's just so much easier to sort of like spread the word and spread hate and spread this and spread that. It's hard to just like have a normal conversation or debate, or have a conversation through a messaging without it getting so nasty. Now, most of us are adults, and we're capable of having discussions like an adult and talking things through and respecting each other's opinions. But I find that more often than not, what ends up happening is it's just, how many curse words can I use in this sentence, and how many different ways can I tell this person to kill themselves? That's the part of, YouTube and Twitter and Instagram, anything social media that I don't like. So it gets really hard when it comes to putting out rant videos and being able to speak your mind on something that you feel sort of passionate about, but you also run the risk of offending everyone. So, but I guess maybe I'll talk, I don't know, like I want to talk about it, but I don't. I'm probably going to end up talking about it now, because that's just the kind of person that I am. I don't want to, but at the end of the day, I am who I am, and sometimes it's hard for me to keep my mouth shut when it comes to something that I sort of feel strongly about. And I just lost a lot of light. It's kind of cloudy outside. So, I don't know. I guess I'll just get to it. And I guess there's really no sense in sort of like beating around the bush or hiding from it, because eventually it's going to come out. Another reason too why I didn't want to put that video out was because I was sort of like, I wasn't angry, but I was just very sort of like passionate about it. And I sort of want to keep that emotion. I just don't want it to get too emotional on my part, because sometimes I do have a tendency that if I don't think before I speak, things can come out the wrong way. And I don't want my message or my feelings or my thoughts to get lost in too much emotion. Make sense? Oh, and by the way, did I say this already? But I'll list everything I'm using in the description box, because I know that I'm probably gonna end up forgetting to tell you guys what I'm using. I am going to be using mostly Feather River Body eyeshadows today. I just really have been very much liking her eyeshadows, and I have two highlighters now, and they're pretty awesome. I'm probably going to use those in this video as well. I wanted to tell you guys also, before I forget, because there was one of my comments, I got a comment, somebody said that they would like to try some of the eyeshadows, but they don't want to use loose eyeshadows. If you contact her, she will take any loose shadow and put it in pan form. Most of the loose eyeshadows that she sells are already in pan form as well. So if you like loose, you can get loose. If you like pan, you can get them in a pan. I washed all of my eyeshadow brushes yesterday, but I have to wait, and I'm hoping that by the time I get done with my eyes, my 263 angle brush is dry. I just washed probably 70% of my brushes, so most of them are in my bathroom right now drying. Basically, that video, the ending, the ranting part, it was just about, and there's so many things to take into consideration with this topic. So many different things. Like, this is something that could be discussed for days, weeks, months, whatever. I'm sure TV shows have been made on this subject. And basically, it's about self-acceptance and our idea of what's beautiful versus reality. I feel like a lot of what we see in social media, that's not reality. And it's not to say that there aren't people out there that just genetically, naturally have perfect skin. Those people do exist. There aren't many of them, though. I would be willing to bet that most people are like me and you have freckles, scars, acne, discoloration, you name it, most of us have it. So what ends up happening, and I see this a lot, and I saw this a lot when I was working with MAC, is, and yeah, a lot of YouTubers and people who do makeup tutorials on Instagram, you will see their natural face. They don't hide everything. Most people will start off with a completely bare face. But then by the time they're done, they look like a mannequin, and that's what everybody wants, and that's what young people want. And see, this is why I don't want to talk about this, because then my mind starts going. And then I'm like off to the left, off to the right. My brain is just like, oh my gosh, make sure you talk about this. Or my brain's like, oh, I just thought of something, or then my brain is like, yeah, but so what? I guess all I'm trying to say is that perfection's a farce. No one's perfect. Honestly, no one has perfect skin. No one has perfect eyes. None of that exists. But I feel like nowadays, with social media being the way that it is, it's much worse than it was, let's say, when I was a kid. But then again, when I was a kid, was I really paying attention to stuff like that? No, I wasn't, So maybe it's no different. It's just more in our face now because we have social media, But I guess what I'm trying to say is that I wish that more people would just accept themselves for who they are or how they look. There's nothing wrong with you, but I feel like nowadays there's just this, people are striving for this perfection that doesn't exist. You can pile on loads and loads of foundation on your face. You can wear fake lashes. You can change your eye color. You can put weave in your hair. But at the end of the day, when all that comes out, that's who you really are. I gotta think for a second. I'm just gonna continue doing my thing here, but I gotta think for a second. Alright, so kind of talking about contouring, and I've talked about this several times, and that I think it's ridiculous and it's completely overdone, and a lot of people are giving the impression that it's something that you have to do. It's something that needs to be done every day. I don't have a problem with people contouring. What I have a problem with is this idea that you have to do it. That in order to be beautiful or to be pretty or to look like the norm, right? Because everyone wants to be a cookie cutter image. So you have people telling other people they have to contour their noses. You have to contour your cheeks. You got to have high cheekbones in order to be beautiful, right? You got to have a long, thin, slender nose in order to be beautiful, right? Because that's everyone's idea of beauty. You have to have big, full lips, you know, because if you have thin lips, it just doesn't look attractive. Who? What? Where does this come from? I don't understand. I really don't understand. And so that's pretty much the mentality now. I saw on Instagram there was a girl who was some kind of like queen of contouring the nose, nose contouring, and she basically took this woman who already had a long, slender nose, contoured it even more, put a ton of highlight on the tip of her nose, and made her nose look like a ski slope. Like you could ski off that sucker. It looked so long. I don't know. I don't get it. It's different if you're doing these things because it's what you want to do. It's what makes you feel good. I'm all for that. You know, if you're doing something and it makes you feel good, whether it's wearing a ton of makeup or it's getting Botox or whatever the case may be, if it makes you feel good, then I am all for that. But if you're doing it because you think that that's what's going to make you beautiful, or you're doing that because you're trying to keep up with someone, you know what I mean? I just feel like if you're not doing it for yourself, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. And I feel like a lot of people, they're not really doing it for themselves. They're doing it for this idea of perfection. Perfection doesn't exist. No one's perfect. No one. This orange eyeshadow that I'm using is from Feather River Body, and it's called Sunset. That's what it looks like. And I just put that over the top of Brown Top. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like makeup. I like putting it on. I like playing with it. But at the end of the day, I'm me, you know. This makeup comes off and I have my imperfections. I have my discolorations. I have my freckles. I've got wrinkles. You know what I mean? That's me. And I've accepted that about me. And I'm okay with that, you know. And I feel like I really need to sort of like drive this point home. That I'm not saying it's bad to alter your appearance. I'm not saying that it's bad. What I'm saying is if you're not doing it for yourself, if you're doing it because you think other people are going to look at you differently, if you think that that's what society says, that you have to have big full lips, that you have to have a long slender nose, you have to have high cheekbones. If you're doing it because that's what society says you need to do, then you're doing it for the wrong reason. You know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. I don't want to come across as sounding like an a-hole, but I just feel like there's this false representation that's just running rampant on YouTube and Instagram and whatever other social media I haven't mentioned. I'm just mentioning those two because those are the two that I'm the most familiar with. I'm using a color now called Hot Chocolate. And again, from Feather River Body. But anybody who's altering their appearance or doing things because they're trying to keep up with everyone else, or they think that that's what's going to make them beautiful, I feel bad. I feel like that's wrong. And sometimes I think that YouTube and whatnot, social media, is really sending a wrong message to a lot of young people. When I was growing up, obviously there was no internet. So people were getting these ideas from magazines and TV and even Barbie dolls. Barbie gets blamed a lot for girls' negative self-image. In my opinion, I feel like parents need to step in. They need to insert themselves, you know, at a certain time in a young girl's life and teach her about and I don't know how you teach someone this. This is just sort of my idea, throwing things out there. Self-acceptance, self-love, realizing that there's nothing wrong with them, that just the fact that they're here makes them unique. You know, you're special because there is only one of you. There is no one else on this planet that is you. Do you know what I mean? There's only one of you. There's one of me. So that makes me unique. That makes me special, you know? So I just feel like if parents spent a little more time when it came to things like that and talking to their kids and letting them know, and don't wait until they're teenagers, because by the time they're a teenager, it's too late. Trust me, it's too late. It's got to start when they're younger, you know, before the teenage years. I would say like 7, 8, 9, just teaching them that who they are and how they look, it's okay, you know. And again, like I said earlier, I'm all about people doing what makes them happy and what makes them feel good. And I'm just going to keep reiterating this point, that if you get plastic surgery, you know, if you over contour your face, whatever the case may be, if you're doing that because it makes you happy, I'm all for it. But if you're doing it because that's what some popular person on YouTube said you need to do, or they gave you the impression that that's what you need to do in order to be beautiful, then that's wrong. And that's what I have a problem with. And I guarantee you that if I ever met you in real life, I would not look at you and go, oh my God, we need to get some cheekbones on that face. I'm not like that. I never have been. My friends, regardless of who they are, what they look like, their size, their color, their background, I don't care about that stuff. You know what I mean? And I think because I'm that way, because I'm that kind of person, that's why I take so much issue with this topic. I take a lot of issue with it. I think I am going to use a little bit of caramel apple. This has quickly become one of my favorite colors. It kind of reminds me of rust, from that rust stack from Melt. But this color is amazeballs. I'm going to use this flat brush, and I'm just going to put this right over the top of hot chocolate. There's a jet flying over my house right now, but I'm okay. Paranoia is under control. At the moment, it's under control. All right, I'm going to use this color here. It is called Apricot. It's really very pretty. I really am starting to sort of fade here. I'm starting to get really tired, which is unfortunate because I still have to go to the grocery store. So what I'm going to do now is take this color here. It's called Elegance. It kind of reminds me of Nylon from MAC. I'm going to take Elegance, and then I'm going to use this highlighter. It's called Sun-Kissed Peach. Oh, it's so pretty. I'm going to tap some of that in the inner corner here. So what I'm going to do is take my brush and put it into Elegance first, and then the highlighter. Might be a little too pinky, but that's okay. Maybe what I'll do is go into Apricot and just tap a little bit of that over the top to take some of the pink out. You know, something I've been doing a lot lately that I never used to do and really don't do very often but have started is using my finger. I never used to do that. I've always used brushes, but I'm finding that with certain textures of eyeshadows, using your finger almost works better than a brush. Can't believe I just said that. Okay, so I'm not sure if I'm going to put anything on the bottom. So I'm going to fill in my eyebrows because I can't take it anymore. Oh my gosh, angle brush. Oh, I guess I'll use this one. I haven't used this one in a while. This is a Hakuhodo eyebrow brush. This is the most expensive brush that I own. I had obviously something wrong with my brain the night that I ordered this brush. $42 for a stupid eyebrow brush. And that didn't even include the shipping. I'm not allowing myself to get sucked in anymore. And I feel like with this sort of new generation of YouTubers, there's almost, I don't know, there's just, I hate to say this because it's judgmental. And I shouldn't be that way. I should not be judgmental of anyone else or anything that they're doing. But I'm really not looking at this like I'm having a problem with this. I'm looking at it as a potential problem for other people, for younger people, for people who are impressionable. But there's a lot of sort of like cockiness and I don't know. It's like that club in high school that everybody knew about, the popular kids, and there were just a handful of them, and they just walked around acting like they were, you know what I mean. And I feel like I'm seeing that a lot. I also don't agree with people using drugs in their videos. And you can call me a prude or a snob, or you can call me stuck up or whatever. I don't care if people smoke pot. I really don't. To each his own. Do I think you need to do it in a video? Nope. What's your point? So you can do it. You ever stop to think maybe you shouldn't do it? As in, like, on video? What's your point in that? Don't get it. I know you guys all know who I'm talking about. I completely 100% disagree with that. That's just me, though. I didn't quite understand that. That's actually one of the things that put me off when it came to that individual, and I stopped watching. There are a lot of people that I refuse to watch anymore on YouTube because I just can't deal with the whole king of the universe attitude. It gets on my nerves. Or king of the world, whatever. I think my eyelashes are shedding again. I feel like just a couple days ago they were full and thick looking, and now I feel as though they are sparse and I don't want to say broken. They're not broken, but I just don't feel like I have as many as I did like a week ago. I know I just did that backwards, but it was something that I learned. I put mascara on and then I put some primer on over the top of that, and now I'm going to go over it with a different mascara. MAC tips. I'm going to use a little bit of my Pixie Peach Corrector right in here to get rid of that blue. Oh, much better, right? I'm just using a little bit of my MAC PROLONGWEAR concealer. And I'm too lazy to get up and wet my beauty blender, so we're going to do this the old-fashioned way with a brush. And I'm going to take a little bit of this. This is from MAC. I can't even remember what this is called. But I think it's a Conceal and Correct. Anyway, I'm going to take a little bit of the pink end here. And I'm just going to put a dab here and here. I mean, just the smallest amount, just right in here. All right, a little bit of my NARS translucent powder just to set this area. All right, so I feel like I have to put something along the bottom. Because of the way I shaped my eyeshadow today, it's coming out more this way. I feel like I need something on the bottom. It's probably just because that's what I'm used to doing and that's what I'm comfortable with, and that's probably it. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put something down there. And I'm gonna start with Sunset, that orange color. I'm gonna put that along the bottom too. Or I'm gonna start with that one, I should say. I would really, really, really like to hear thoughts and opinions on what I've been talking about in this video. Am I just being an old lady here? Do I have some valid points? You know, I do like to have discussions on things, and I do appreciate other people's points of view, because sometimes people point things out that I haven't thought of, you know, and it sort of like makes me look at things differently, you know. So that's kind of what I'm looking for with this. I'm not looking for anyone to blow their top or take offense. If you're that kind of person, then you take offense to things easily. Don't bother leaving a comment. I really want to have like a mature discussion with people about this and their thoughts, and especially if you have kids, and especially if you have daughters, you know, and what you think about this. Do you think that YouTube is a healthy resource? Not healthy, that's not the right. Do you think YouTube is okay for your kids, for your daughters or your sons to be watching all the time when it comes to anything beauty related? Do you feel like maybe some of these people are a bad influence? You know, maybe not the greatest influence in the world on your kids. I'm really curious, and I would like to know your thoughts on this. You know, and if you do let your kids watch YouTube, and I'm mainly talking about makeup tutorials because I don't really watch any other types of videos. I mainly just watch, when I do watch, I mainly just watch makeup tutorials. You guys see how quickly I closed my eyes up by putting all that on the bottom? My eyes definitely look a lot smaller. Oh, I did want to tell you guys, I forgot to tell you this. I took a little bit of this, it's Disco Pigment from Feather River Body. Oh, I love this pigment. Anyway, that's what it looks like. And I didn't put it on wet, I just took my finger, tapped it in, and I put it on the center of my eyelid. I think it's pretty. I like it. Oh, I'm going to use my good old 109 brush. Never buy one of these from MAC. They shed like crazy. I don't know why. They just do. They always have. I'm assuming that they probably always will. But it's a cute brush. It's an awesome brush. It's oh my gosh, does it ever shed. So I'm just, see, as soon as I lay the brush down, there goes a hair. I'm not contouring. I'm just bronzing my face up, and I'm putting this where the sun would naturally hit my face, so like across the bridge of the nose here, top of the cheeks. I'm gonna go along my forehead too, so like right up in here, right up in here. And that was the Becca bronzing, shimmering, everything is perfecting and shimmering with Becca. The bronzing skin perfector. What the heck is the name of that stuff? Does it even matter? Do they even sell this anymore? Bronzing skin perfector. That's what that's called. But I like it. I feel like it just gives me some warmth to my face. What do you guys think? Yes, no? Look at that spot. Can you see it? Where color will not stick. Look. And also over here. Right there. Color just won't stick. I don't get it. I look bronzed, right? I am going to powder my face, but again, I am powdering lightly. My friend Vanda loves this powder. It's the RCMA No Color Powder. And I've used it. I've actually used quite a bit of it, but I don't think it's like, I don't know. I don't think it's like amazing. Maybe it's because my skin's getting old. I don't know. I am powdering all over, except under my eyes, obviously. And I'm powdering in my hair. Okay, and then I'm going to use this. I really like this. And it smells good too. It's the Butter Bronzer from Physicians Formula. My friend Beth sent this to me. She's funny. If she really loves a product, she needs to buy it for everybody. She bought all of her friends one of these. So again, just in the general area here, going over my the Becca, and I'm going to go along my jaw here. And I'm actually going over my jaw, not so much like under, because again, I am not contouring. I just want to bronze my face up a bit. And then I will take it down my neck. I will take it down my neck a little bit, and do my ears, because I am going to keep my hair up. I just gotta fix it. And then for some highlight, I'm going to use Sunkissed Peach from Feather River Body. I'm going to use a Sigma tapered highlighter brush. It's a F35. Now, I like my highlight to be a little more subtle. And I know that that's not the popular way. Most people like to glow. And especially now, like, highlighting is just such a huge deal. So what I'm going to do is put it on subtle on one side, and then I'm really going to go to town on the other. So this side would be the way that I would prefer to wear it. Just a little bit of a glow. Nothing crazy. And then this side, I'm really going to go to town. I'm going to wear this highlight like a lot of people wear their highlight. Holy moly. You guys, I know you can see that. So now I have to even these sides out. So you see how you can wear it more subtle and then bang. The reason why I don't like to wear my highlight so crazy is because, whoops, I just used the wrong brush. Because I have wrinkles here, and also what happens with age is your pores start to become enlarged. So I have pores over here that are not as small as they used to be. So when you throw highlighter on top of that, what do you think happens? You know what I mean? You bring in a whole lot of attention to a lot of enlarged pores. I'm going to try something here. I'm going to take a little bit more of that highlight, and I'm going to wet it. I'm using a little bit of my coconut water here. Let's see what happens. Oh, good Lord. Look at that. I still have to go to the grocery store. The reason that I'm doing this is because I want to show you guys how awesome her highlighters are. Everyone has their favorites, you know, obviously. But hers are pretty nice. Actually, they're very super nice. I like them. My friend Martha sent me this, the Jaclyn Hill face palette. She didn't like it. So I'm going to take this color here. What is the name of this? Rose Spritz. That one there. And I'm just gonna, I wasn't going to use that one. I was actually going to use Amaretto. You know what? I lied. I'm going to take the middle one, this Amaretto, on my all-time favorite crown brush. And I'm just going to doink it right here. Does anybody else keep everything in the box? I do. It's so dumb too, because then I end up getting annoyed because I have to take everything out of a box. So I'm using some Dervish lip liner from MAC, Viva Glam 2 lipstick, and then I'm going to take a little bit of the Ariana Grande lip gloss, which you guys know I don't like lip gloss, but this is pretty on together. Alright, you guys, I'm done. I'm going to use a little bit of this Maybelline Master Fix Wear Boosting Setting Spray. And I think this stuff works just as good as anything else. I haven't noticed, I don't know, I feel like I've used Skindinavia and I have used Urban Decay. I don't notice a difference, you know what I mean? Anyway, alright, I'm done. So, again, you guys, let me know your thoughts on what I was talking about. If you agree, if you disagree, if you have another point of view, I would love to read it. Again, be kind. You know, there's no reason to be mean about anything. I'm not purposely trying to set out and hurt anyone. That's, you know, not the reason behind this. I'm just talking about something that I feel needs talking about, you know. When I was a kid, actually not when I was a kid, just years ago, last year, year before last, people were blaming Barbie for negative self-image for girls. I think that's ridiculous. I'm sorry, I really do. I think that's ridiculous. I think parents need to do a better job with their kids. Everyone's so quick to blame the environment for how they feel. But I feel like when it comes to impressionable kids, you know, at a certain age, I don't know. God, there's so much more that I could say. All I'm going to say is this. When I was growing up, there was TV, magazines, models, you know, celebrities, Barbie dolls. Yeah, there was that thoughts, just like there is now, for perfection and to look young all the time and to do this and to do that. But I feel like it's worse now because of social media, trying to achieve these standards. I just think it's ridiculous. And so if I was going to say one thing or several things, I would say parents, do a better job with your kids. As far as like when it comes to accepting themselves, loving themselves, knowing that there's nothing wrong with them. It's okay to not look like everyone else. I mean, who wants to be a cookie cutter image, you know? It's okay to be who you are and be proud of that and be happy with that. If you're making changes to yourself, whether it's cosmetic, whatever the case may be, if you're making changes because it makes you happy and that's really what you want, then I mean, if I was your friend and you were doing these things and I knew that they made you happy, I would support you. But if you were my friend and you were getting lip injections and Botox and dyeing your hair and doing all of these things because that's what you thought society wanted, then I would tell you to stop and think. That's all I'm saying. You know, pictures are one thing, real life is another. So I'm going to end it right there. Thank you guys so much for watching and hanging out with me and looking at my, oh, look at that. Heather, good job. All right, you guys, so that's it. I'm going to go. Thank you so much for watching, hanging out with me, and I will see you guys all again very soon. Bye.